and blooms, growing food in garden rooms, home-based holistic healing, and much more. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or nature lover, plant assassin or permaculture professional, we got you. We got you. Let us bring you the ideas, the facts, support, and inspiration to go green wherever you are. Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. only on Radio Al Ansar.
Boom, 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 boom. A little boy went first day at school. He got some crayons and he started to draw. He put colors all over the paper. Colors was what he saw. The teacher said, "What you doing, young man?" "I'm painting flowers, see?" "Well, this is not the time for art, young man. And anyway, flowers are green and red. There's a time for everything, young man. A way things should be done. You got to show concern for everyone else. You're not the only one." She said, "Flowers are red. Green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way."
Hey, 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 it's Sunday. Sunday is Green Thumbs Up Day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host, life coach, Rabia Carvalho. That's how you can find me on the socials. And you're tuned in to Green Thumbs Up. We're that gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. The one where everybody's an expert. Nobody has all the answers. But together, we grow, grow. And today we're growing something very, very unique. But before we jump right into it, I must first greet everybody here in studio. Man alive, it's wonderful. We have lots of folks here in studio. So if thou hast not joined us upon the YouTubers, then you shouldest. And if you have not joined us on Facebook, then go ahead and do that. That's Radio Al Ansar. And then you can communicate and commune with us. If you would like to WhatsApp us, you know the drill. WhatsApp is 060 904 1056. And if you'd like to phone in, of course, 0861 904 1056. So today we have an interesting show lined up. But before we begin, as usual, I must say first to our sound engineer, Aswat Fili, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing today,
Alhamdulillah, I'm really good. And to the listeners and to you, I want to say thank you so much for last night. So last night, dear listeners, I was on Brother Muhammad Bariawa and Brother Jiwa's show, and we had a really, really amazing show. And I want to take the opportunity just to thank everybody that messaged in overwhelming amounts of support, and just to see how many people are living through broken lives, as we spoke about my upcoming book, A Cult of One. And it has been it was really overwhelming for me in the best way, yes. And I wanted to say, you know what? Jazakallah khair to each and every single one of you for all of your support, for the love, for the outpouring of love, and for those who found the courage to break their silence last night. It really, really is not easy. And so I take my hat off that I'm not wearing, but imagine, virtual, right? Virtual. Take my hat off to you. And speaking of hat, Aswat, what do you call a fish with no eyes? Come on now, we got to get a fish with no eyes.
A fish with no eyes.
Yes.
Egg.
Fish.
Oh,
Fish that's got no eyes.
my God.
You know, we have the Quran on this show, folks. We have all the Quran. And we also have some guests in studio. Apart from our sound engineer, we have with us all the way up from Joburg, standing in here, is Muhammad Ayaz Kareem Mac, the man who is our head of content. He happens to be out here for the Durban Summer Souk, which is coming soon. Diarised 24th of December to the 5th of January. Because that's when it's all going down.
So excited to be here, especially on this show.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. I'm really excited to be here. You know, Green Thumbs Up will always have a really special place in my heart.
Yes.
It's something that we started together, like, what is it, over a year now?
We are pushing forward to our 18-month mark.
Wow, that is insane. How old are we?
How old are we?
Yeah, no, it's something that's really exciting. And I mean, guests like this and like shows like this, which I really feel like a lot of people like my focus is always typically news and politics, but these things are important too. We need to like diversify our content and allow people to live in what they really enjoy. Like at the end of the day,
Yes.
if you want to talk about gardening and it's something that you're passionate about, then by all means go for it.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be up to date on what's happening in Syria and Chechnya and Yugoslavia all the time. It's
But
yeah.
remember, Green Thumbs Up is not just gardening.
100%.
We're gardening and natural living. And today we've got the natural living in the house.
Definitely.
And in the house with us this morning, we have a wonderful young lady that's going to give us all the lowdowns on koi fish. We have the koi ridge to move forward and speak to a lady who is with us this morning, who's come out with her husband, and her name is Angela BECKS. Now, Angela is a mom. She has 2 kids, Ethan and Kayla, and she's married to Warren, who is here with her in the background, because Warren doesn't do public speaking. But we're so grateful that you were able to be here with us. Warren and Angela run a business together. They love working together. It's great. She says that sometimes working with your spouse can be difficult, but together they make the perfect team. Isn't that beautiful? SubhanAllah, they do. So Angela's hobbies are running and gym. She has just on the byways. She's actually run 6 comrades marathons, folks.
Yes.
That is super impressive.
Can you even?
I can't actually. That just took me to a whole other level. That is so impressive.
We struggle to run to the corner shop.
Wow.
No, that's not it. She's also done 7 2 oceans. Okay. And is going to be doing the comrades again next year. She just keeps swimming.
But it's like, how I'm really curious to know,
Yeah.
compared to the first one that you
Yes.
did, as compared to the most recent one.
Yes.
How did you find it? What was the difference for you?
So the first one's always exciting because it's new, but it gets better.
But in terms of physical, just like effort.
Yes, it gets easier.
Okay.
You get your body definitely adapts, and you get stronger and stronger.
So do you feel like as the years go on and you're adding to these,
Yes.
for you it's not much of an effort, whereas
Yes.
people are like, wow, how is she doing it again? Meanwhile, for you, you're like,
Yes.
this is nothing for me now.
It's all about discipline, I think.
for
If
sure.
you get up, if you do the training, it goes well. If you don't do the training, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And I've got lovely friends that I think makes a big difference when you have a training partner.
And like-minded people, so people who
Exactly.
are all participating
Yes.
together. You know, it's
And,
what they
and
say.
as you're going and you're training together, it's awesome because you're
Yes.
making even more
You meet
friends,
new
you're deepening
people.
those connections.
Yeah.
It really is true when people say that you are the people who you choose to surround yourself with.
True.
We see that in every aspect of society. I'm one of those people who's a life path 9, or whatever.
Yes.
They say people who are 9s adapt very easily to people around them. But if I'm in a situation that's quite grimy and terrible,
Yes.
I will become the master of those grimy and terrible people, which is why I really try to remain cognizant of that at all times.
Yes.
But yeah, I think you are truly like the epitome of what it means to surround yourselves by like-minded people.
Yes.
And nature, because
Definitely.
you've got all the stuff that we believe in, which is you're out in nature, natural living, you are running, so you're keeping fit, you're keeping healthy, and we have our Nature's Apothecary segment coming up a little bit later as well. We're
My
going to
favorite.
talk about later. But Mac, knock,
Who's there?
radio.
Radio who?
Radio or not, let's get going. Okay?
Let's
It's
get
time
into
to
it.
talk about the koi fish.
Yeah.
And I actually looked up, Angela, I looked up a few interesting things about koi. And I found out that apparently some koi outlive their owners,
Correct. Yes.
right? I also read that, and I'm reading this, the oldest koi was named Hanoko, and he lived 226 years. How does the
Amazing.
fish live 226 years?
Like before you even get into that, I'm just fascinated. But if you look at a random koi fish in a koi
Yes.
pond, I would not be able to differentiate between what makes a koi as compared to like a king clip or like a
Yes.
hake or something, right?
Yes.
And there's obviously dramatic price differences. I want you to break that down for me. Like what?
So
what
let's get there.
contributed to
Let's
that?
get
Yeah.
there. But I
Mhm.
actually want to ask Angela first, like,
Yes.
how did she get involved with koi fish?
Yeah,
Before
for
we
sure.
even get in there.
So it all started with my husband. So I
It's
was
your fault.
Yes, it was his fault.
Ba-dum.
I was studying marketing, which I know you're very passionate about
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
And after I graduated, I did a few jobs, and he came to me and said, I'm working in this business that he's just started and he wants to grow it. Would I be interested?
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, maybe I must go for it. And we went into it, and that's how it all began. And it began from his passion of absolutely loving animals, loving fish, having every snake, pet, lizard you could find he had.
Okay.
And then obviously being with him, I got,
Dragged in.
Yes. And I've loved it.
That's fantastic. So tell me now, I read a few other facts. Apparently, the koi fish are prone to sunburn.
Yes, they actually get skin cancer.
Oh,
And you can actually do surgery. My husband can actually do it. And you can actually remove, like we go to a skin specialist and get things removed off us. On fish you can, and you get ointments and treatments.
Wow.
For context, are there any other animals where this is common practice?
I think because fish, they bask in the sun all the time, and they're constantly outside. They never can like escape and go under a tree like another
yes,
animal.
Yes.
But I feel
So-
like if you dive deep enough into the water,
No,
No.
they like to come to the top, and because they're very curious and they like to meet people and see what's around. So they're often on the surface, and there's more oxygen on the top. So they like to come to the top, and then so you actually need to have trees around or get some shade around and protect at least half the pond to stop skin issues.
okay.
Apparently, koi fish have teeth in the back of
They
their...
do, but if you find if people come, like they come to visit us, and all kids will want to just be curious because the fish will come, they'll put their hands in.
Yes.
They will never be able to bite them. They're so far back that like you can put your whole hand in their mouth and they'll just suck and be friendly. You won't. It's
Okay.
nothing to be afraid of.
And I believe they are quite friendly and can even
Very.
recognize the owners.
Yes, they can smell, they can see, they can recognize body shapes.
They can smell from the water.
Yeah, they can. It's amazing. They've just got quite strong senses. So if you put in food in the opposite side of the pond, before they've seen it, they'll smell it and they'll shoot across. So their
Wow.
senses are
What
very
is what
good.
is their average diet consist of?
So the best is just to give them a good koi pellet
Okay.
because it has everything in it. But you can give them lettuce. You can cut half an orange if you want to watch something
Really?
fun. Chuck that in the water.
And like what is also like completely off the table, like with regard to food wise? Because I know certain things like with parrots.
What
you
would
spoke
you
about
not
Yes.
give them? Yeah.
chocolate like is
You can't give
dangerous for parrots.
avocados
I
to
didn't know
parrots
that.
and
Yeah.
I fed a
lettuce.
parrot chocolate
Yeah.
peanuts
Oh,
and not
shame.
realizing.
Yeah, they're pretty resilient. They'll eat anything. It's more what you put in will damage the water quality. So you wouldn't want to put anything that's too rich and oily because it just clogs the filters. So they can tolerate pretty much everything. They're not, they probably wouldn't get sick of anything,
Mhm.
but it's more what it will do to their water environment to make it toxic. That would be more of the problem.
Mhm. Now, as we talk, sometimes these messages come in and we have to address them. So there's been a message that's come in from Sister Aisha, and she says, Salaam alaikum. So, wa alaikum salam. Hope you're well. Just wanted to know what type of tree this is. And there's a picture that she sent us, and it is an avocado tree. So there you go. It's an avocado tree. We were just talking about, what not to feed birds and cats, and that is avocados. Don't feed them avos.
I'll be honest, I'm not an animal person by any means.
Yeah.
I love cats. That's the extent of it. I have a severe phobia of, Rabia knows this, snakes. It's like so intense that if I
I'm
knew that
surprised
there
you
was
said the
one-
word.
That it's honestly, if there was one like in
Yes.
the parking lot down there, I would
Sure.
literally be like
Yes.
having heart palpitations. It's
Yes.
so intense.
Yes.
So but like fishing things, like
Yes.
I've traveled a fair amount, so I've gotten to experience and see a lot.
Yes.
It's just that I think with certain things we're never going to change our ways. Like
No.
with me and the snakes thing, it's never.
Yes.
I always maintain if I ever have to come across a snake, I will die from the impact of just the sight of it. I'll never have to go through the rest of the.
So all we have to do is bring a snake into studio.
Literally, that'll be the end of
And
it.
you'll
I'm
run away.
convinced. Yeah, I'm convinced. The end of me.
Oh gosh. So now you started with koi fish. We've said they sensitive to sunlight. They can get cancer, and then your husband is the fish surgeon, so you're the
Yes.
sturgeon.
Yes. There we go.
There we go. And the teeth in the back of the throat, you've said to feed pellets. I find it fascinating. Oranges and lettuce.
Yes.
So are they like omnivorous?
Yes.
No way.
I didn't want to ask that question. I was literally waiting for you to ask that.
Are
question.
they omnivorous?
Yeah.
So they will. For
Would
those
they eat?
listeners,
Would they eat each other?
No.
No.
They will eat things like, let's say they lay their eggs. They will
Human finger?
never. They will eat their babies by mistake, but not on purpose.
By
Like
mistake.
they would eat the eggs more.
So would
Or-
you attribute that to lack of mental capacity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. It will be a
That's just saying
mistake.
they're stupid, yeah.
Yeah. So once they've laid their eggs, and if they've been fertilized and the babies, have been able to hatch, you'll have to really remove them and put them in a different section of the pond or container. Otherwise, each
They think it's
spawning,
food.
yeah, each spawning will be about 500,000 eggs. They
Sure.
can.
Wow. And how often do koi fish reproduce?
They have to be a certain age. So a female must be about 4, so
Okay.
that she has good reproduction
Yes.
and her eggs. And a male can be younger. He can be 2.
Oh.
And then it's
Go
normally
cougar koi.
I had 1,000 things pop
Yeah.
into my head as soon as you said that. Like, I can't even lie.
and then they need something to spawn on. So if you have shade cloth or spawning nets or ponds with plants,
Wait,
Now,
explain
please
the
talk
concept of
about
spawning.
spawn-
Yeah.
with the spawning net.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean when you say spawning?
So they don't like to just release the eggs. The female's very lazy. She will just reabsorb them if she doesn't feel like it. So the male will actually push her around and nudge her, forcing her to release her eggs because she's
Right.
quite lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you put something called a spawning brush in, or shade cloth, if you don't have a spawning brush,
Mhm.
like a spawning brush looks like a giant bottle brush, that you use to
Yes,
clean
to
Yeah.
clean
babies.
babies' bottles.
So it's made specifically for them, and it's very soft, and it's quite big. You can get them up to 2 meters, and they're about 250 wide. And then you lure them in the pond, and then the female will swim up to it and lay her eggs on them, and then the male will go and fertilize.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's amazing. And
Sorry, my mind is
5,000
like, yeah.
500,000, 100 to
fish.
500,000 per spawning.
Wow, per fish. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
I really want to get into the
me.
economics of this.
But
this story.
but let's just, because our listeners, I'm sure, are wondering, like, there's a few terms that we've mentioned, and
Okay.
not everybody is a favorite with them. So we've said, for example, they're omnivorous. So if you're at home, omnivorous basically means they eat
Immediately.
meat as well as veg. So they are like really, really super healthy. But you mentioned that they have personalities. Are there any other peculiarities about them?
Well, different colors in the variety are hugely.
Is it just one variety or many different types of varieties?
Yes,
of
so you
koi?
get 15 that are like sort of how can I say, labeled by institutions around the world. These are the 15 varieties, and then you get sub varieties.
Yes.
So there's 15 like listed varieties, and then each variety actually has a different personality.
Wow.
So there's a fish called a chai goi, which means tea, and it's
Chai.
actually
yeah.
very friendly, and it will become a
But
very
according
friendly
to
fish.
who's decided on these personalities?
The
I'm trying to-
Japanese people.
So it's something that's
Yeah.
been around
They've
for years and years. And
observed,
it
obviously.
goes back to law, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of this sounds like koi law.
Yes.
If you tell me that a chai girl has a friendly
Yes.
personality,
Yes.
I'm gonna take that with a pinch of salt. I'm gonna be
Yes.
completely honest with you.
No,
But you
I
need to
think,
buy one.
yeah.
and
You
then
see,
put
the
in your
thing
pond.
is, it's the same as any animal. You've got to talk to people. I used to have sphinx cats, which are
Yes.
the naked cats, and people
Beautiful.
said they have personalities.
Yes.
They really, really do.
Yes.
They are a cross between a kangaroo, a monkey, and a human child. And speaking of that,
I think the
speaking of
uglier you are,
kangaroos,
the more of a personality you have to have. I'm just
Yes.
saying. Don't
Speaking
get the
of-
ugly.
Speaking of kangaroos, we're going to hop off to our ad break in just a minute. And we'll be back right after this. So don't go away and stay with us. We're going to keep talking koi right after.
Radio Al-Ansar.
This hadith is sponsored by Ashraful Aid, International Humanitarian Organization.
حديث a day قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من تواضع لله رفعه الله. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, he who humbles himself for the sake of Allah, Allah will elevate him in rank. Being humble means to believe that others are better than you. This will help you in serving others. If you have a high position or lots of wealth, then you should be more careful because these qualities can create pride in your heart.
This hadith is sponsored by Ashraful Aid, international humanitarian organization.
Are you looking for a meaningful way to fulfill your zakat obligation? Look no further than Ashraful Aid. With our trusted track record, your zakat reaches those who need it the most in the most honorable and dignified manner. Visit our website at www.ashrafulaid.org.
Sunnah a Day, proudly brought to you by Sunpick, 100% pure sunflower cooking oil. Sunpick, cook more with less.
मेरे नबी प्यारे नबी सुन्नत तेरी दुनिया दी.
Sunnah a day, upon awakening, recite the following dua. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur. All praise is due to Allah who has given us life after sleep, and to Him is our return.
Sunnah a Day, proudly brought to you by Sunpick, 100% pure sunflower cooking oil. Sunpick, cook more with less.
Imagine this. You're putting together a 7-color meal, from the creamy pasta to the glazed carrots and flavorful onion gravy. This entire meal is made with our 100% pure extra virgin olive oil from our La Familia range, bringing outstanding quality and taste to your kitchen. Shop La Familia 100% pure extra virgin olive oil at any leading supermarkets near you. La Familia, heart of the home.
Radio Ansar.
Welcome back to Green Thumbs Up. I am Rabia Carvalho. I'm in studio this morning with Angela BECKS and Warren BECKS, our koi fish experts. With us also in studio from Johannesburg is Muhammad Ayaz Karim, our head of content, and of course our sound engineer. We have a full house. A full house. Speaking of full, I just read that koi fish can actually weigh up to 41 kilograms. What on earth? Think about that. Just let that register.
Huge.
For a second. 41 kilos is a small child.
Yes.
I was just going to say that's bigger than my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
41 kilos.
Yeah.
And try and catch them.
Yes.
They're very heavy.
Are they? And I'm sure fast. Although
Very
heavy.
fast, yeah. So you have to have special nets and make sure you catch them correctly because you don't want to damage their fins.
You see, folks, you thought this was just going to be boring. It's koi. It is not boring. There is nothing boring about koi. It's amazing. You were telling us, Angela, before the break about colors. So just tell us a little bit more about that.
So it's quite interesting. A lot of the koi fish colors and names have the Japanese meanings.
Okay.
So the one that's quite popular is called a tancho. It's a plain white fish with like a red circle on the head. And that's the
It's
Japanese flag.
Very
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a Japanese bird, and that fish is very hard to get with a perfect circle on the head because they're trying to breed, and often the circle's slightly on the eye or under the chin. But the goal and what will make it very expensive if the circle is perfect and the white is
Do you
crisp.
think the koi fish informed the Japanese flag? I wonder.
I actually don't know that question.
I wonder. It's a red dot.
I mean, it
Hey?
feels like it has to
You're the
have.
political dude.
It feels
Hey?
like it has to have, surely, right? Because I don't think that this fish took its inspiration from the flag after the fact.
Or it could be a coincidence.
No, I mean, coincidences like that feel just too far. I don't believe
Too
in such
far.
coincidences.
So we've got colors of the fish.
Yes, and you get yellow ones, which
Yes.
are called ogons, which are very popular because they like the sun and they're happy.
Mm-hmm.
Other interesting things are called a hiatsuri. Now, he is the color red, and itsuri is the variety. And then you get weird names like kinky itsuri, and each name has a different color pattern. And there's one last one that's very popular. It's called Ishiba Shiguri, which means autumn leaves on water. And the fish
Wow.
looks like a leaf.
I feel like those are the
Oh,
only koi I've ever
wow.
seen. I know exactly what
Yes,
you're referring to.
yes.
I'm just curious to know, based on what you just expressed now, it feels like a large part of the value of koi is based on aesthetics, right?
Correct.
So when
Like
it comes down to
Is
breaking
art.
down the cost, like for example the Japanese one, you said would probably cost the
Yes.
most, right?
Yes.
On average here in South Africa, what
Yes.
we have available, what are we talking in terms of pricing and the
Yes.
From where to where? Are we
So
going?
kahaku is a white and red fish. That's actually the one that's the most popular. And you actually see it also a lot because people try and breed it to get the perfect fish. So that you can start at, let's say, 60 Rand. And that will go up to people pay, I mean, millions. In the South
We're going to
Africa.
talk about the setup. I know you're
sorry.
eager about that. We're going to talk about the setup. I've just got a question from MH Osman who says, Assalamu alaikum, green thumbs up. Wa alaikum salam. Are koi fish found in the ocean? Are they edible or just pets?
So they are only freshwater.
Yes.
So you won't find them in the ocean. They come from carp. So yes, they are edible, but it would be very difficult to eat them because they become your pets. So before
Also, for Muslims, omnivores, we can't. They wouldn't be considered
yes.
halal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were actually bred long ago for a food source and something called Deutz, which means no scales. So a carp was bred with no scales. So for eating, it would be easier for them to eat.
A lot of fish are either omnivore or carnivore, even like bass fish are
Yes.
carnivores. But now, koi fish, we see them nowadays and they're beautiful and people have them as pets and people
Yes.
have shows, koi fish
Yes.
shows, you know, and you can go and show off your best koi fish. And I don't know how complicated it is to move them from water to water, but how did this all start? Do you know?
So there is a few theories out there, but one is that in Cape Town there were Japanese fishermen that brought koi across and were selling them to children in Cape Town, and that's how it
As
all
pets?
as pets.
Wow.
And then the children would put them in obviously ponds at home, and then from there that's how they say it started.
So let's talk about that. If we wanted to get started, your child sees a koi fish and says, "Mommy, I like the red dot on the white fish. I want." What do you then do? Do you get?
Yes.
Can you have them in a small pond? Do you need like a bigger thing? Do you need filters? Or
Give us the bare minimum.
What is the
What are the bare
what is
minimums?
the ideal kind of approach?
So koi fish need space. So the most important thing is actually depth. They need about a 1.2 meter deep pond. Most people you'll find will have them in a 500 and shallower just because they don't know. But then they often jump out. So that can be a problem.
That's interesting because I remember I had a friend here in Durban who had a koi fish pond and she kept saying the fish were out the water. Now I know why.
Yes.
They need a 1.5 meter deep.
I feel like
So
majority of koi
1.2
ponds
is
I see
average.
aren't that deep.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a problem, but people don't know. And often they build a water feature or a pond and then
100%.
later only
Yes.
find they put a goldfish in or a guppy and then later they're, I want to get koi.
Yes.
So you can build them affordably where you can use something called a pond liner. So you can just dig a hole in the ground and put a liner in. You can get a fiberglass shell. You can build it like a swimming pool with bottom drains, which is best for filtration. So there's lots
So they
of
do need
options.
filtration.
Filtration is actually the most important. So
It's not
the
going to
home-
cut it to just have plants.
No.
Okay.
So plants will help and help with the nitrates and it makes the water
Yes.
nice and it's wonderful to look at. But plants, they are naughty, they will eat them.
Oh,
So you have to separate the plants from the pond.
Wait, who will eat who?
The koi will eat the
The plant.
well,
So
did you really think the
I
plants
don't
don't
know.
eat the fish?
The way
I
she
mean,
said it made me like question.
I mean, Venus flytraps underwater.
It
Yes.
felt like that. I mean, who knows in those circumstances? I mean, we've heard that aliens come from under the
Yeah.
ocean, so like you'd be surprised.
So like a water lily, people love water lilies.
Yes.
So they often put a water lily in their pond and the next week they'll come and visit me and say, my koi went down, dug up the water lily bulb and have been playing soccer with it. Like a
What?
So
It's cute.
That is so adorable.
So
So
they're
they
naughty.
when you say they play, so they'll play.
They'll play with it and throw the bulb around to its friends.
I feel
and
like
then
there
eat
should
it.
be like koi fish soccer games.
Yes,
Those
with
koi
water
fish
lilies.
Soccer.
It really is fascinating when you get into the psychology of other species,
Yeah.
because as humans we're so multifaceted
Mm.
and we come from all different spectrums and behavioral. When we see these sort of attributes in other species, we like find it fascinating, and it's like, why do we assume that we are the only unique ones who have this ability? Like, it really is the case all across the spectrum, and that's something that we can't comprehend because we just can't comprehend the splendor of God. You know what I'm saying?
And they are
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. So you've got the filtration system. You said you can go into the pool. So that goes to the question on economics. So have at it. I know you've been dying to ask.
Look, I just want to get to I want to get to the nitty-gritty. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but like I said, in my life, whenever I've come across koi, they've been owned by people who had a certain amount of wealth, right?
Correct.
It's not something that your average person goes and says, "Hey, I want to invest in koi." No, they'll get a dog, right? So explain this to me, like, because when you said now from 60 to a million, that number just messed with my mind. Let's go into the average numbers on the average koi fish available in South Africa today, what they would cost you, and the setup cost of a koi pond.
So your average fish that people like to spend are start at 295 Rand, but a lot of customers will spend around 2,500 to 3,000 for something that's got a beautiful body shape and color.
For a fish?
For a fish.
Okay.
So then you get like the younger generation that want to get into it, that want to spend the money, but are just not in that income bracket. They will buy the 60 Rand fish. And then as the hobby grows or as they climb in their careers, the same people, they'll come back and then buy the 6, 7.
So on average, how many fish are you talking in your koi pond? If you're looking at like your basic, what's considered a setup here?
Put 2 if you want fully grown fish, which is like 90 centimeters, 2 of those per 1,000 liters of water.
And would you recommend getting somebody somebody who's new? Would you recommend getting a fully grown fish or perhaps a younger fish to grow?
I would recommend getting 2 medium to large fish because they are very friendly, and then you can get smaller ones. If you just get small fish, they're shy and they're hard. So you need 2 big fish if you want
to train them.
To kind of teach
correct.
the
Otherwise, they're
skills.
hard.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, and on that note, we're so glad to have made 2 new friends that are not fish, but they will be back on Green Thumbs Up, and we hope to have you back again soon. Before you leave, though, I'm sure that there are listeners out there who are going to want more information, how to get there, where to get them, what to do if they already have koi fish.
How do we
reach you?
So we have a business which is called, very unique name, Koi at Jungle, and we are in Sherwood. And we have Facebook. We are, if you just look up.
Oh, you're next to the tropical nursery.
Yes.
My hat. So you've taken over there. That's wonderful. I must go.
Yes. So we actually opposite now in a house, which is right there. And we actually had a graphic design our external house, which has got our fish, one of our big fish. Yes. And you have to come visit. We open 7 days a week and we are always there.
Okay. Would you like to give out a number?
Yes, we can give out our office number. It's 031 209 8781.
Well, Angela, thank you so much for coming through. And Warren, thank you for being here.
Thank you so
and for
much.
telling us about these koi fish. Absolutely fascinating. And it's been wonderful.
Yeah,
hasn't
it really
been?
has been such a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I honestly
Not
like
expected.
I said, not expected. I'm not into these sort of topics, and I found this to be terribly entertaining. So definitely we should do this again.
That was it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. So we're going to switch tacks quickly and have a gloves on moment, because listeners, you know that we cover the natural living, but also the gardening and the Nature's Apothecary. So we've got a little video to play for you. You will be able to see it if you're on Facebook and YouTube. Otherwise, listen in if you're on radio and have a listen to this.
I could have just put it in a glass of water, so that's exactly what I did when I found a tomato with a hole in it today. And what is coming out of it? I picked this tomato from my garden today. I brought it inside. I put it in a glass of water like you guys told me. What are those? What are these wormy maggot creatures coming out of my homegrown tomato right now? Y'all, I want to throw up. I'm glad that I saw the hole in the tomato and put it in the glass of water, because I never would have known. Unless maybe I would have seen it when I cut it open. Who knows? But there are tons of them and they just kept coming out. And they're moving and I don't even know what to say. I mean, I guess they speak for themselves, because they just keep flying out of this tomato and wiggling on the bottom of this glass jar. So if anybody knows what they are and would like to fill me in and share with the class, because I feel like this experiment in my garden that's been going on this year is just, I don't even know, but
What
I'm
we're
literally
talking
now
about here, we're
afraid to eat
talking
anything
actually
that's
about,
coming out of the garden. Or honestly, I'm afraid to eat anything ever
love.
now, because this isn't
You know,
just my
fruit
garden.
love,
This
I
is
can
all
lay
food
the
everywhere.
tomatoes.
They always have
One way to get
things
them
in
out,
them, which
you are
just
preparing a
freaks
salad
me
and you're
out.
not quite sure because there's a hole in your tomato, and you think, was that the sunshine? Was that a sticky stookie that poked a little hikey? What was it? Put the tomato into a glass of water and let it soak. If there is anything in there, it is going to float out. Now, is it harmful to eat? Not really, but do you really want to? Not really. So
That's so gross. I'm sorry, it's so gross.
listen, it is nature. We are all, I mean, you have worms. Everybody has worms at some point in their life. So fruit is no exception. And in fact, figs are very interesting because figs cannot exist if they have not been stung by a wasp and the wasp larva grows in them. Then you don't get fig as a fruit.
Are you dead serious?
Yes, I am dead
Is
serious.
that is that a non-negotiable across all figs?
That's across all figs.
So figs and wasps are directly. Oh wait,
They have a symbiotic relationship.
are wasps dependent on the figs in any way?
Well, yes, because the larva grows inside the fig.
Oh my word, that is fascinating.
And they can then make a little hole in out, or they pollinate the flower and they kind of stay there. When sometimes they get stung, they sting the flower, the fruit, and they go and lay their little larva in there. So that is why when you eat figs, don't just pop them in your mouth like so. Open them up and check inside. What's a wriggly wiggly? Figs, tomatoes, everything. So there's your little gloves on moment for you today. And changing tax, I know that you had some questions on nature's apothecary.
Well, in this moment when you spoke about, like, I told you, I'm not the greatest with animals, right?
Yes.
Insects in general,
Yes.
like spiders and things like that. But I think it's important to also speak. I think with summer season, there are a lot more creepy crawlies around, and like they become a lot more prevalent. Just with regards to, I want you to talk about bites and
Okay.
the potential for what could get really bad and what is okay. Like, look, I think I've had a spider bite before. The one thing I'm actually least afraid of is a spider. We won't talk about he who must not be named, but like just with regards to insect bites, especially maybe in this area for what's prevalent.
Okay, so firstly, at the moment in summer, we're getting the mozzies. You know the mozzies. You got
those are
mozzies.
unavoidable.
It's a tick season. You've got lots of muggies or midge that fly around. And in fact, sometimes they're in the house and you don't know it. You wake up in the morning, you look at your windows and all these little midge are flying around and you don't know why. So that's because if you have any soil indoors, they will kind of breed there and then they'll fly out in the morning. And so you're wanting to protect yourself from them first of all. So you can have things like on your windowsills, indoors or even outdoors. You can plant your insecticidal plants. You got your lavender, you got your lemon balm, your Melissa. Melissa, being lemon balm, is actually really, really good to keep mosquitoes away as well as to keep stress away. So, use it for them.
Is Melissa easily available?
Easily available. It's
I
part of
need
the
to do
mint
that.
family.
Yeah.
So you can grow your mint as well. Various pelargoniums, scented pelargoniums also have fragrance that allows, keeps mosquitoes away. You want to keep wasps at bay with peppermint oil and rosemary oil because of the particular fragrance, shall we say, essences in them. So you can make yourself a room spray, and to do that, you can get some witch hazel, which is an alternative to alcohol. Witch hazel, you can use that as a room spray. So what you can do is get yourself 100 milliliters of witch hazel, take 3 drops of eucalyptus oil, 3 drops of rosemary essential oils, and 3 drops of peppermint oil. Not only is it going to smell amazing, and you can even add a few drops of lemon, but it's also going to keep these bugs at bay. And because of the eucalyptus, it is going to dampen down electromagnetic smog from your phones and computers and laptops that are in
That's
the
amazing.
house.
Yeah.
So you can spray down surfaces. You can use this as a furniture spray. All you need to do for that is to add a teaspoon of the oil of your choice, and you have a beautiful furniture spray. Now, let's say you've been bitten. If you've been bitten by a slung or you've been bitten, I'm using the word, okay? Mag,
Afrikaans doesn't make it easier.
Okay, folks, if you've been bitten bitten by a snake, or if you've been bitten by a spider, it's important to try to find the offending creature and identify it, because not a lot of spiders are actually toxic unless you're talking about something like a violin spider. A lot of spiders are actually quite harmless. I kept tarantulas at one stage and they're adorable. They're adorable. I had pink-kneed tarantulas and her name was Chiquita. And she used to walk on my hand and I would sing, Chiquitita, tell me what's wrong. And she would do little circles. And did you know, interesting fact about tarantulas, when you feed them, they do a happy dance.
Wow.
They literally do. They'll stand up on their little legs and they do a dance. They'll do circles. Every little spider will have its own little jiggle wiggle dance to say thank you for feeding me. Yes. A question that has come in, I just must answer it because it says kindly respond. And this is from Sister Fatima Effendi. If the worm is inside the fruit, you can eat it. It comes from the fruit itself. I don't know if that's a question, but in terms of will it harm you? No, it's not going to harm you, like a spider would or a wasp.
I think she wants
would.
you to debunk that.
Yeah, so yeah, you could eat them. I mean, you could eat the fruit if there happens to be a worm in it. It's not going to cause you any harm, but do you really want to?
Eat the worm, yeah, for sure.
I mean, you don't really want to because we're kind of grillerig that way. But yes, you can. It is safe. It is absolutely safe. And figs, of course, if you open them up and there's a lot of worms in there, I don't think you want to bite into that. But yeah, they are theoretically, biologically, they are safe. So going back to our spider bites, something I discovered which works extremely well is good old borage. Now, if you're going borage at home, you can make some lovely chimichurri sauce with borage. And the leaves of borage are hairy, but as the borage plant gets older, those little hairs become sharper. And you can use either a young leaf or an old leaf, but borage is really good at extracting venom from spiders and from even some snakes, of course, depending on the level of toxicity of it. But the trick is to not mince it with blades. The trick is to take your borage leaves, put them onto a chopping board, flat surface, and take a rolling pin and roll it over so that you're kind of squeezing the borage leaf and kind of crushing it rather than splicing it up.
Is that also something that's readily available? I know it's
Yes.
chimichurri, right? I don't know if everybody else does, but I mean
Yes.
chimichurri and
It
but
tastes
borage
like
is,
cucumber, okay?
oh the borage leaf. And I love
borage
that.
leaves.
Because chimichurri, for those who don't know, is basically like it's an Argentinian style
Yes.
salsa, like where you
Yes.
take your parsley and like all your leaves and you
Yes.
mix it together and you make this amazing mintish sort of sauce
Yes.
that you would put over your steaks or something. But
This chimichurri sauce that you make with borage, it's a spin on the traditional chimichurri sauce. It still takes parsley, it still takes olive oil, it still takes garlic, it still takes thyme, but you crush it up and you can put it on anything from chicken to fish. And then, of course, you take the borage and you put it onto your wound where you have been bitten. You can also mix into it a little bit of castor oil. If the bite is a little bit inflamed, mix the castor oil, so a teaspoon of castor oil into about a tablespoon of the paste that you have made on with your rolling pin, and you're going to put that onto the site and you're going to wrap it in place. That is going to draw out toxins, and it is also going to reduce the inflammation. The other thing that you can use on insect bites, of course, is rosemary essential oil. If you're going to use essential oils, always mix them in with a carrier oil. That is anything from olive oil, coconut oil, jojoba oil. If all else fails, sunflower oil, because you're just going to apply it externally. And rosemary essential oil works extremely well. Why? Mara, why? Because it is antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antibiotic. Rosemary essential oil. Tea tree oil is another one that you can apply for all your bites and all your stings.
I think just go back to that before I come on that the mosquito bite, the prevention, right? Because like I personally have reached the point now where I'm so used to it that I'm used to getting completely covered in bites. I deal with it, I scratch, I itch, and I carry on with my life. For those people who aren't as patient and kind with me, like we just deal with it.
Yeah.
Who just don't want to deal with it. Like, what do we do? What's the best
Citronella,
prevention? Yeah.
citronella oil really is amazing, and it is the main thing used for
Where do I get
mosquitoes.
this?
You can get it from any store that sells essential oils, any of the chemists, the big name
And
brands.
how would
as well.
you apply?
So you get your citronella oil, and you can do a couple of things. You can either add citronella oil, a few drops, to some olive oil or some jojoba oil, which is really nice and soothing, or castor oil, as I've described. Or you can put it into your aqueous cream. So you just buy some plain old aqueous cream and mix a few drops in there. It is going to separate, so every time you're going to use it, mix it up. If you are really crunchy, then you can do what I do, which is to use an aloe vera leaf take the gel out of the aloe vera leaf, add a few drops of lavender oil, which stabilizes aloe vera so that it doesn't lose its medicinal properties. And then to that, add some citronella oil, and you can add the rosemary as well. So when you're applying that, you're softening your skin, you are kind of having a self-care moment, but at the same time, you are taking care of the mosquitoes.
Speaking of citronella, will candles suffice?
Yes, candles really, really do help, as well as incense sticks. Anything that is citronella based is definitely going to work. Just a question that has come in that I want to cover quickly. It's not apothecary, but this is from Sister Suraya Paruk, and she says, Salams to all. Wa alaikum salam. How would you use coffee bean granules in your garden? Oh, I have to tell you about coffee beans. Coffee beans are the very, very best thing. Not only can you, collect coffee beans from all the coffee shops around you, the coffee, what do you call it? The grounds, once it's been used, it's sterilized because it is run through hot water. You can use that to grow mushrooms. I mean, normal edible mushrooms, folks. Don't be out here giving me any strange things. It's normal mushrooms. So coffee bean granules are amazing at this time of year for your orchids. They're amazing. That was the question. Amazing for your orchids. They're actually excellent for your banana trees as well, to give them a bit of a boost. Coffee is the kind of thing that will help to revive plants. So you can put the coffee grounds straight into the soil. You can add your coffee grounds to a liquid compost. So it's water, you put in your coffee grounds, tea bags, whatever, onion skins, everything into the same thing. Shake it up every day, give it a good stir. You've got a beautiful liquid gold fertilizer with coffee grounds. Coffee grounds are also great to use as a leaf fertilizer. So if you've got your anthuriums, you've got your arum lilies, you've got your tiger lilies this time of the year, and you're wanting to make those plants really flower and give them a boost, don't just give them coffee, give them sugar and coffee. So make them up a nice cup of coffee and sugar, and dilute it up. You need 1 part of coffee to about 5 parts of water, and you can use that as a leaf wash. And there's the question on the coffee. And I think I've answered your question on the mosquitoes.
Yeah, definitely. Look, this show is so much fun. So excited. I'm really bummed that we've got like 3 or 4 minutes
Can
left.
you believe it? Yes.
But yeah.
We need more time, don't we, on Green Thumbs Up?
Listen,
Yes,
you need to speak
Mr.
to the head of content. I can't actually comment on that.
I need to speak to the head of content. So, Mr. Head of Content, let's have this conversation. No, anyway, listeners, it's been wonderful being with you once again. We still have everybody here in studio. I hope you'll give koi fish a try. I hope you'll give some of these natural remedies a try as well. It is a beautiful summertime now. And remember, today is a beautiful day to be happy. So from me and the entire team at Radio Al Ansar, sound engineer Asfat Fili, our head of content Muhammad Ayaz Kareem, and the entire team here. Until we see you next week, don't forget Suki is on its way, and so is my book on the 26th. I will be at Suk for the book signing and reading. Mac, have you got something planned for that, right?
Yeah, so we're actually doing a live book launch at Suk. So honestly, having been privy enough to read excerpts of Rabia's book, I'm really excited about this. I feel like this is really going to be, it's something that just goes beyond just, this is not reading for the sake of just enjoyment, which is also very important, but this is something where she's actually giving you real practical tools and tips that can really help you in a situation that is honestly really devastating for a lot of people. So I would implore you to be there live for the launch. We're planning it for the 26th or the 27th. What date have we set on?
The 26th.
So the 26th, we will be doing it live from the Souk. I'll obviously be giving you more details as we get closer. We'll be putting out the information across all our shows from Monday. But yeah, please be there to support. And I know you're going to be having a limited number of books for sale as well. So
yes, it's
limited, first come, first serve. Yeah. You can pre-order online, but if you want the book on the 26th, then you need to be one of the first people there.
Now, there's a message that came in from a sister. I won't give out her name because she might not want that. But she says, Salaam alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Wonderful show always. Jazakallah khairan for last night. That was the interview about the book, A Cult of One, decoding the manipulation and control tactics of narcissists. You gave me courage to open up after 30 years.
Sure.
Stay blessed. So on that note, Jazakallah khairan to all of you for listening in, and we will have more next week from all of us here. Assalamu alaikum
wa rahmatullahi
wa barakatuh.
Put him in a corner. He said it's for your own good, and you won't come out till you get it right, responding like you should. Finally he got lonely, frightening thoughts filled his head, and he went up to that teacher, and this is what he said.
Green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen.
Well, time went by like it always does. He moved to another town, and the little boy went to another school. This is what he found. The teacher there was smiling. She said painting should be fun, and there are so many colors in a flower, so let's paint everyone. And that little boy painted flowers in neat rows of green and red. And when the teacher asked him why, this is what he said.
Green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen.
But there must still be a way to have our children say, there are so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see everyone. There are so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower.
We'd love to meet you. Pay us a visit. Radio Al-Ansar.
Come get our butcher's best for less at Checkers Foods Cowie Park. Enjoy certified halal butchery products like leg of lamb, just $159.99 per kg. All beef roast, just $99.99 per kilo. Rump roast, just $129.99 per kg. And ribeye top roast, just $139.99. Deals valid until December 25th. Only at Checkers Foods Cowie Park. Now certified by the NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust, across our butchery